What's going on, guys? Andrew Piluk Hockey here, back again with another video. Today we're going to be previewing Game 2 of the Toronto Maple Leafs versus the Tampa Bay Lightning series. Now, if you guys are new here and you're a Leaf fan like myself, or if you just love hockey commentary, make sure to like this video and subscribe. I'd love to have you guys here. Join the squad. I need you guys here. I need you guys with me here because we're on this journey to try to make it as far as possible with this channel, and I love talking about the Leafs and hockey. And by the way, make sure to check out my comment section because you should be commenting hashtag QAG Leafs inbox. Make sure to go check out the Queensway Automotive Group if you need a new or used vehicle. But if you leave hashtag QAG Leafs inbox, I will post your comment on the screen and that will return in the next video. But today we're talking about this Game 2, and we will talk about Game 1 in a second. But obviously Thursday, April 20th, 7 p.m., so not a 7:30 p.m. start this time, a little bit earlier of a start. Tampa, of course, took Game 1 7-3. Vasilevsky was the better goaltender, as you can see by the numbers here. And I want to quickly talk about the points. Not Braden, but kind of Braden. Oh, that wasn't a very funny joke. Excuse me. But anyways, Kucherov and Marner, 3 points apiece. Kucherov with 2 assists, Marner with 3 goals by point. He had 2, and Yarncrook 1. Again, these don't really matter too much right now. But in terms of injuries, we'll see if Victor Hedman, by the time I'm recording this video, there isn't any decision on him. We'll see if he ends up playing in the game. Cernak seems like he's going to be out. And Isamont, he looked like he was probably not going to be playing, but he did finish that game. So I'm not really sure what's going on there. And same thing with Tanner Jeannot. Apparently he's ready to come back into the lineup, but there's no distinct decision on that either. The next thing I want to quickly touch on is Game 1. So not quickly touch on, but we're going to talk about Game 1 because 7-3 loss. A big, fat 7-3 loss. When they went down 3-0 in the first, I already knew that the game was probably over. Not just because, oh, well, it's 3-0. Of course you thought that. But they didn't have that level of compete. They didn't look like they cared. They didn't look like they wanted to be there, to be honest with you. They looked like they were just going with the motions. And it sounds ridiculous because, of course, they want to play. They're in the playoffs and, you know, they want to exercise their demons and all these different things that we keep hearing, but we never see it. So Tampa goes up 3-0. I'll briefly touch on officiating. I think it was awful, but that's not the reason why the Leafs lost. I think that the refereeing at some point killed the momentum because when the Leafs made it 3-2, and then there was just a penalty right after, and then it was 4-2, it was like, okay, the referees just kind of took the momentum away from the Maple Leafs. It felt like they were not able to really get back into the game. And sorry if I still sound sick. I'm still sick. It's brutal. I can't get rid of this. But the Leafs just could never get themselves fully back into the game. That's on them. That's not on the referees. But it doesn't help when some of these calls were ridiculous. That Shen cross-check where he pushed someone, that's not a penalty. The slash by Kampf when Corey Perry slashed him even harder. And then you had, I think it was like Nick Paul behind in the play slashing McCabe after that hit. You know, it's like those calls are just like there's no excuse for those. And that did change the game, but the Leafs ultimately lost the game. Am I upset about the officiating? Is Wes McCauley awful? All these different things are true, but it's just whatever. The Leafs lost 7-3. Like, you can't just blame the referees. Excuse me. You can't blame the referees for that. And the Leafs are just going to have to play better in Game 2. Now, one thing we need to get to as well is that Michael Bunting has been suspended for 3 games. Not good. As you can see here, 3 playoff games for his illegal check to the head on Eric Cernak. Now, I didn't like the hit. It's clearly a suspendable hit. This is what happens every single time the Leafs get in the playoffs and they feel like they have to police the game, where they feel like things aren't going their way, and then somebody steps in and does something stupid. We've seen Kadri do it many times. We've seen Michael Bunting do it in the regular season, and now he's doing it in the playoffs. I'm going to say this very lightly because I think the Leafs can still win this series, and I think they will, to be honest with you. They just have to like get out of their own head, like I literally said in the preview. But that could potentially have been Michael Bunting's last play as a Maple Leaf because he's a free agent. And the problem with Michael Bunting is that the referees don't like him. And there's times where Michael Bunting deserves those penalties. Like a lot of times Bunting deserves penalties. But there's a lot of times where he's getting unfairly called on things because he has a reputation now. And that does happen around the league, but it seems like Bunting's been getting it really bad lately. And this one is on him. Like, this is a suspendable play. It was a bad hit. Hopefully Cernak is all right. I hope he plays, and I genuinely mean that. Same thing with Hedman. I mean, who doesn't like watching Victor Hedman play hockey? But it's just, it was stupid. But Michael Bunting could potentially be gone he is gone for the next 3 games, and the Leafs could lose all 3 of those games, technically, which would eliminate them, and Michael Bunting could potentially have played his last game. I think Steve Dangle said it best because he was talking about how like he let money slip through his fingers. And I think that that's actually true because he was playing so well for the last couple seasons for the Maple Leafs at an amazing contract, such a discount. And he was putting up a large number of points, drawing penalties, looking like he could become the next like Zach Hyman, but not as, as scoring wise, not as many goals, but at least in that style of play and play with the top 6, play in the top 6, right? Sorry guys, I'm all over the place. I still feel like crap, but I'm trying to spin together some sentences here because I'm also still really pissed off about that game. But it seems as though he let a really good opportunity slip past him. And sorry, Twitter's going crazy here. I'm hoping that this isn't somebody being hurt or something. Okay, nothing yet. It's just the morning skate. Michael Bunting probably doesn't get another contract from the Maple Leafs unless it's a super big discount because, I mean, he's not reliable right now. And the other problem is that he's not going to get those calls from officials anymore because they clearly don't like him. We've seen it in game 1 again. There's a huge scrum. There's like 4 people in the scrum, and the referees only pull Michael Bunting out of the scrum. It's like, don't make it so obvious. And it was the same thing in the game with Toronto and Tampa like last week or the week before, where Bunting goes in just as like the 4th or 5th guy into the scrum, and then he's the only one that gets the penalty, and he didn't do anything. Like, he just grabbed someone. And it's like, that was just happening for 2 minutes, and you gave him the call instead. But no excuse for this head hit, this headshot. He's not going to play in the next 3 games. And that means Matthew Knies is going to be in the lineup. Now, there's going to be a bunch of lineup changes, and I think Sheldon Keefe always mixes together his lines, so I'm not even going to really mention a ton of it. But it looks like O'Reilly's going to go to the 3rd line and play with Matthew Knies, and I believe Achari. And then you're going to have Kerfoot on the 2nd line, which I don't agree with, but he's going to play with Tavares and Nylander. Hopefully that works, even though it hasn't worked for multiple seasons now. And then the 1st line is going to have Yarncrook, which it should have had Yarncrook before. So, like, I don't understand why they got him to not at least play him with those top 6 guys because he's actually looked really good with them. So, 7-3 loss, and they've got to prove it in game 2 that they can win. And if there's a bunch of injuries for Tampa, like, this is the night that they might be like, okay, if Victor Hedman can sit out 1 game, this might be the game. Because they're going to be like, rest him up. If the Leafs win, it's just a brand new series, and we're back at square one. So they might rest their guys to be like, okay, like, if they're banged up a little bit and they need like 1 more game to just heal up, this is going to be the one. There's no other question about, like, it's going to be this game. So hopefully the Leafs can take advantage of that. They have to win tonight. They go down 2-0 going into Tampa. It might actually be a sweep. So they have to win tonight. If you guys are new here, like this video and subscribe, join the squad. I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Go Leafs go. Leave your predictions down below and also leave me a question for the #QAG Leafs inbox. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.